the day. One of our favorite songs.
You ready? What up, everybody? It's George Boyd, Iconic Culture TV, with another episode of Booed Up. We about to go way up tonight. We going so high tonight. I had to name the episode "Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll." But sex, drugs, anxiety in parentheses. Anyway, I got somebody special here tonight, man. Before I go into that, though, I gotta read something, then I'm gonna introduce my very special guest. We like to drop little jewels and different readings. I got a poem, this book from the Tibetan Book of Meditation. Your boy started meditating, and then I stopped. Every ounce of pain I see comes from trying to serve myself, and any happiness I see comes from serving others. Beautiful. Tonight's guest, Sky High. I remember he told me he went to the Future concert and got so high one night he was out his top. Cash Epics. What's up, big dog?
You already
What's up,
know,
baby?
big dog. You already know.
Tatted,
You know
platted.
what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro. I'm inspired by somebody in this room. That's all I'm gonna say. You know
I like
what I'm
that. I like
saying?
that.
That's all I'm
Listen.
gonna say.
Tonight, it's full transparency. It's an open book show, man. We talking about sex, drugs, rock and roll. We talking about everything. We talking about the highs and the lows. We talking about the stuff that you've been going through as a rapper. He had an album with Perk. You did your own solo albums. You've been rapping, when was your first single?
My first single, because singles all considered different nowadays.
It was the first mixtape over a regular industry beat. When was the first one?
I'm gonna give you a two-sided answer. My first time ever freestyling over another beat was "Nuck If You Buck" by Crime Mob.
Okay.
And it was in front of the Plaza.
That's a long time ago. The one I remember the most was over the Beyonce.
That's what I was going to.
Okay.
That's
my favorite right there.
And that was actually off of my first mixtape ever. 2010. That was Food for Thought.
Yeah, Food for Thought.
That was Food for Thought.
Food for Thought,
yes.
Food for Thought. Well, let's just get right into it, man. Sex, drugs, anxiety. Got some questions, man.
Those are synonymous.
So, how wonderful is it for Cash Epics to have that special person to be in love with, have sex with, come home to? How special is that? How special was that for you? If you could describe those feelings, put it into words.
I tell you what, having that, it make you feel, it literally makes you feel like you have more of a purpose on earth. Yeah. And it might not even necessarily be the greatest relationship, but you cling on to those good moments, and you could be working at McDonald's, no slang.
It don't even matter.
Man, but
you gotta flip them damn burgers.
I want extra hours. I want overtime, cause I know when I go home.
I know about the working at McDonald's too, cause I used to work there on the service room. Right. They called me the apple pie man, cause I used to eat a lot of apple pie.
And
the nuggets.
So we must fuck, cause I look up to you, dog. And I worked at the same one. So ain't know it, but nah, dog. Real talk. I think that, I don't want to get too spiritual, but I think it's a spiritual thing too. But I know the difference between how my serotonin and my dopamine, just every level of the mind, it just feels totally different when I'm single, and because I don't get joy out of juggling 20 females. It gives me nothing. I want one that I can come, and when you have that, man, make you feel, especially if you got the right one, telling you could run the world.
Yeah.
Don't be good, be great. You could.
You feel like it's more power, or you feel like it's more of a gratification, even if it's not real, when you have more women? Like, do you feel like you have more of a bravado about yourself? Whether it's a false bravado or not, if you got a bunch of women on your team, you know, it's just like the dude the song King George, can't have one woman, gotta have three. If you're gonna leave, go ahead, ho, walk out the door. He probably don't say the whole part, but
Yeah.
do you feel like it's a bravado that comes with that?
I definitely think it's a bravado that comes with that. And now this is the thing though. I don't think it's necessarily the fact that you have multiple females that causes the bravado.
What is it?
I think that that men who enjoy that all the way down to the polygamous and everything, I think that's something that's a bravado that they already possessed in them, and that's something that they desire.
Yeah.
Because you know you have men with tons of bravado that only want, you know, that don't want to juggle, like I was saying earlier. But it'd be a crime to say that having multiple females don't boost your bravado. But then again, bro, I hate to sound complicated, but maybe I'm just a little weird. It's like the more females I have to put energy into, I feel like it take away from my bravado.
I was about to say that. One of the things I wanna drop a quick jewel. We're born with a lot of value.
Yeah.
And most of our value comes from, there's this new baby, he's about to grow up, go to school. He hasn't been tainted. He hasn't been tainted by giving of himself. And so the more you start to give of yourself to people, the more your value goes down. Like, you start to devalue yourself over time. And there's actually, I was reading something in one of a prayer book that I have, and it referenced, not only do you become devalued by people, but at some point, the more you give of yourself, you're of no value to God. You're of no value. He can't use you because you've been used up. You feel me? Yeah. So I agree that some of those men who may have that bravado because they have a lot of women on their team, they do possess that. But the thing is, though, when the women go, that's when you see. That's when you see how solid you really are. Mm-hmm. Because, like, in my situation, for me, I've had instances where it was just a lot of people around that would say, good things and make you feel a certain way. But when you're going through a crisis moment, the opinions of others don't matter. You have to have that within yourself. If you can't if you can't do it on your own,
because those nights,
when you're going through those dark nights, you can't think of words other people have told you. Like, you have to have that bravado, you have to have that confidence, you have to have that esteem on your own.
Right. I know you asked questions, but I had to. Do you think? What I'm trying to say is, do you think?
It's the drugs, yo.
It might be.
It's the drugs.
It might be, because I got.
It's the drugs.
You know what?
What up? It's gonna come to you.
It's gonna come to me. Go ahead.
How old were you when you first started having sex? When did you break your virginity?
13.
13.
That's not bad.
That's not. I was 11.
See?
I was 11.
I told y'all it wasn't bad.
I was 11. How looking back on that, do you wish you would have waited? Like, was the person that you slept with?
You know what? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Were they worth you giving yourself to?
No.
Yeah.
I lost my virginity at 13 for like lack of better terms, I ain't gonna say she wasn't a prostitute, but.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't know. She may be now.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I'm saying? But she put it like this.
To protect the names of the innocent and the guilty, we are just
we're not gonna name nobody,
No.
man. But you know, to make a cool story out of it, I didn't break my virginity until I moved to Dallas after Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, why I had to take a little second to think about it, because you gotta think about it. I have a line in the song where I'm like, I made my first song, then I got my first piece of P.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm the man. I said it in
Did it really
different
make
words.
you feel like you were the man?
At that time,
Yeah.
of course.
Really?
Because that's, you know, at that age bracket, and I don't know if I'm gonna go ahead and speak for manhood. I ain't gonna just say it's a New Orleans thing, but that's all mattered. You get clowned if you was a virgin.
You did.
But I was always the type to keep it real. Like, I'm a virgin.
And I gotta keep it real. Him saying that his first time made him feel great. I thought my first time was gonna make me feel great. You probably never heard this story. I lost my virginity. Juvenile, he talks about the Magnolia Project being so smoked out on New Year's Eve that you can't see in the area. I gotta testify that that's so true. I lost my virginity across the street from the Magnolia on Washington Avenue, Louisiana Avenue, on New Year's Eve night. And it was so smoky outside. I just remember looking over in the courtyard, and it wasn't the dew. It was smoky. It was gunfire. This was the Magnolia was ratchet, right? We were by Key's food store, in the house by Key's food store. We could not cross the street and go into the Magnolia on that night. So anyway, I lost my virginity, and it's a funny story. I was so psyched up. I mean, I'm ready. I've been playing with myself for the past couple years.
Practicing.
Looking at Jet Magazine, Beauty of the Week. The page is sticky. I'm like, I gotta get all of this out of me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I go in. She like 14. And as soon as we done, I remember I spent the night. It was like a friend of a friend of a family member. I looked over. I was like, I feel bad that we did it. We should have done that.
You said that?
I said that to her. She was like, boy, shut up and go to sleep. So I said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I got to tell your grandmother because I don't feel right. I went up front and told her grandmother what we did. And let's just say my mama had to come pick me up that night. It turned out to be a terrible night. It was just bad. I got clowned. But that's me, though.
You've always
I had a compulsive disorder. And let me tell you what it is. From day one, me giving myself to somebody else that I wasn't supposed to give myself to, it took from me even then. I'm 11 years old. I couldn't even describe what I'm feeling. I'm telling them it took from me. Like it was an energy it's an energy that you give to others when you give yourself sexually. And so as a child, I didn't understand this. You know, they just thought I was having a panic attack or whatever was going on. And I couldn't figure it out. But it brings me to the 5 emotional needs that we have to have, 5 basic emotional needs that we have to have from relationships. And the 5 are safety, reflection, attention, love, and leisurely connection. Can you say that safety, reflection, attention, love, and leisurely connection? Can you say, looking back on your relationships, let's go back further than the relationships. Can you say, looking back on your childhood, did you feel a sense of safety with your mom? Did you feel reflection? Were you guys reflecting with one another? Did you have attention? Did you have love? And did you have that leisurely connection from her?
I'm going to say this, and I mean this way. I'm going to answer that very thoroughly, and I mean every word. And I love my mama to death. Disclaimer. But, leisurely?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
From what I know,
Hell no.
you had to when dinner was prepared for you. You had to go eat in your room.
You gotta go eat in the room.
Y'all didn't eat at the table.
But we never ate in the table. I don't know what that felt. I don't know what it's like to laugh, make a joke.
Yeah, and talk.
Hug on each other.
What about reflection?
Reflection.
You know, how was your day?
None of that.
How was your week?
That is a TV thing to me.
Did you do that in your relationships?
You know what? I did.
Yeah. How did they receive it?
But they didn't. They didn't. I think because I wanted it so much and I had been missing it so long. Yeah. They still didn't give me what I needed. Yeah. Because I kind of take. I don't think they knew how much I lacked in that area and how much I yearned for that. Yeah. So they probably felt like what they was giving was enough. But I wanted more.
Did they reciprocate, for instance, when you know, because going into a relationship, from what I know about you, I know that you're very passionate. You have a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy as well. I think in today's world, we lack empathy because everybody is always trying to, especially in relationships, black relationships. I don't know about white relationships. I don't know about red people. I don't know about brown. Sorry, Preston. I got to ask you about white relationships at some point. But I don't know. But I know with
Preston's
black relationships.
He's at the barbecue. So
yeah,
cool.
So
That's my
I
man.
think Preston probably experienced more black relationships
he,
than just white relationships.
He might just be black.
He might be black. Just white, you know what I'm saying? But I think we are missing out on being empathetic to one another because it's always about the one-up.
Oh,
it's always about
you
remember what he did you last week or last month. And so when he has a moment, instead of being empathetic and trying to understand, or when she has a moment, instead of being empathetic, you think about what she did and you clap back. Yes. You don't try to figure out what's wrong. You don't try to talk. You don't try to work things out. You want to make her anxious. You want to make him upset. Did you find that happened a lot in your relationships or no?
I found out that happened almost 9.5 out of 10 times.
It didn't start like that, though, did it?
It did not start like that. It started the complete opposite. Yeah. I never seen it coming. Yeah. And the bridge, the gap between the childhood and the relationships, no safety. Yeah. Never felt it. Never.
So what you felt in from home. What you didn't get, the safety, the connection, the leisurely connection. Going into your relationships, that was set on the table for you from day one when you first start dating these people. It seems like that's what you're going to get. But in the end, or after their, what we call their disguise left, you got what you got at home.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real. Are you asking me?
I'm asking you now. I'm assuming.
You assume correctly. Wow. You assume, and bro, I'm gonna tell you, I'm 32, bro, and I met a girl, and the day after my birthday, right after you threw me a surprise birthday party.
Yeah. You know what? Before you get into that, I want the people to catch that. Let's pick it up with, finish telling me about after their disguise left, or they pulled the disguise off, was it the same as home?
It was the exact same as home. Yeah. It was the exact same as home. And the only difference is, to me, it was worse.
Yeah, why?
Because with my mama, it's not my lover. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm missing that. So you know what I'm gonna go do?
I'm gonna go find it.
I'm gonna go find it in the girl. I'm gonna go find it in the music. I'm gonna go find it in the drug. Yeah. Whatever I gotta and
jewel drop, everybody. If you're shopping for a lover, if you're looking for somebody to be with, you called me a couple times from rehab. Mm-hmm. And I gotta just say, not from rehab, but when you got out of rehab, I gotta just say this. Okay. 1 year, you spent more time in rehab than you spent on the street.
Yeah, you had
and I told you that. I realized, like, we got towards the end of the year, it was around Christmas, and I said, bro, you missed out on the whole year. So you've been in rehab. You spent more time in rehab than you spent on the street. You called me one time from a hotel. Like, you used to leave rehab. I mean, we gotta dig in right quick.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You used to leave rehab with these girls that you would meet in rehab and go on these binges and be locked in a hotel room for days at a time. You called me one night. It must have been late, like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And I remember I get the phone call and I'm like, what up, bro? I'm thinking you, oh man, G, I'm about to, give me some news, or we talk, chop it up. You said, G, I'm in a hole, bro. I'm feeling bad, bro. I was like, what's going on? Man, I'm in relapse. I'm in a hotel, blah, blah, blah. And the visual I had, because I'm on a balcony talking to you. I'm 9 floors up looking out over the city. And I'm just thinking about, damn, how did it get like this? And I remember telling you what I was about to tell the people. If you're shopping for a lover, if you're looking for somebody special, if you're in a relationship and it's not working out for you, and you're about to leave that relationship because it's too much drama, he doesn't listen, or whatever it is, you will only get who you are. The person that you find, I don't care if you look for him on the internet, if it's a new dating site, you could be on Christian Mingles. You're gonna get a reflection of yourself. It doesn't matter where you go. When it comes down to people, you can't search for the right person. You attract the right person. And your attraction is based on where you are inside. I told you, I said, bro, I don't care where you go. You need to get yourself together before you meet anybody, because you only gonna meet what? What did I tell you?
You told me, in these words, it's gonna stay with me for the rest of my life. You told me those exact words. If you, like you just said, if you remain that person, you're never gonna find anything that's gonna contribute anything positive to your life, because by the law of attraction, you can't get anything else. And it was so crazy, because it's one thing hearing it or reading it in a book, but when you look, somebody tells you that who loves you, and you really start to think in hindsight, man, I'm talking about, it got to the point, G, I couldn't even holler at a chick at the gas station without finding out she the same way. Even the ones who put the facade on, they turned it out because I was still...
You were still you. You were still you. Ladies, gentlemen, you can go buy Chanel, Gucci, Louis, Balenciaga. Shout out to all of my future, my future girlfriend or fiance wife. But I like Balenciaga, just so you know.
Yes, it is.
Disclaimer. But you could go buy and get suited up. You can go to the Grammys, and you're gonna meet the same woman that you just finished dating. We gotta talk about why for a quick minute, though. You know what? We're gonna spin back and talk about why. It's getting deep, y'all. It's getting real deep. Dog, what was your drug of choice?
My drug of choice was opiates, not heroin to be specific. More specifically painkillers. Percocet, Roxy. But then as time went on, it turned into a 3-piece combo.
What's that?
And that was, now I want to make this known for the people out there that's listening, because this sounds fun, but when I end this statement, you'll see how fun is not. It turned out from that to every day I had to have the opiates, because anybody who been in that world, if you don't have it, you ain't doing nothing. You sick.
You dope sick.
You're sick. Then I had to have Xanax. And I had to have cocaine. and I had to have all three at the same time.
I remember being on FaceTime with you a couple times, and you was like, G, and no disrespect. And I said, nah, I get it. A bunch of times. I wanted you, but I never, like, I was like, dog, I get it, you know. For everybody out there, I don't even know what weed feels like. I've never gotten high before.
Hey, this guy.
I've never gotten high before.
This guy has
never. You the fuck out. Okay?
This guy has never drunk in a wine cooler.
I don't. Man, mommy used to keep wine coolers.
Yes.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. That's just never been my thing. But, how old were you when you first started doing drugs?
Hard drugs, right? Like the ones we discussed.
When did you first start smoking weed? How old were you?
13.
13.
13.
That must have been right
that
after
was the
you
goal.
had-
That was the golden.
That must have been right after you had, or right before you had sex.
That was the
time.
golden year.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's early, 13.
Yeah.
I think I was approached. We lived in the Willows in New Orleans East. Shout out to everybody that lived in the Willows with me in the NO East, man. Back in the G. When the East was the East, right?
With the satellite dish.
Yeah. Troy, Tremaine, all the boys from the Ninth Ward that I used to live next door to. All of the dudes from the Goose and Flake Street who used to hop the fence to go to the swimming pool. And it was like a gang of them. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here, right? But anyway, I was in the Willows. I was probably like 11. That was the first time I got approached with smoking weed. And I remember going, nah, I'm good. I was gonna circle back and do it later. I just never got around to it. But
Wow.
let me ask you this. You were talking about Percocets, Roxy's, and all this other stuff. Who did somebody introduce you to popping pills?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you a goddamn truth. No, and I'm not trying to save face.
Yeah.
Nobody is to blame or introduce me to the stuff that I did. It was always a situation where it was around.
Yeah.
And you talking about somebody who got died lit tatted on their arm. You talking about somebody who I made it part of my bucket list that I would try every drug before I died.
That was your
Yes.
a part of your body. Every drug.
This wasn't that long ago that motto kind of. I lessened
You really made that a goal.
Yes. And
Some people make goals to buy a nice car, buy a nice home, marry a nice woman. Cash Epic was like, I'm trying to try every fucking drug they got.
Look, but I want to say this though.
You don't condone it though.
I definitely don't condone it.
Yeah.
Cause it gave me fun times because it's gonna do that scientifically. It's raising dopamine. Yeah. But it brought me misery. Yeah. And I will say this. Dog, I don't know, a lot of people use drugs for pleasure. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I never used drugs for pleasure before, but the reason why I indulged so heavily into everything I did was, and I didn't know it, but I was always trying to fill this anxious void.
Wait, so you were trying to stop a certain feeling that you
Yes.
Anxiety, you said.
Yes,
before we go to the anxiety. That's weird. So I was watching an interview with Meek Mill. It was a while ago, and he said a girl introduced him to popping pills, and he got hooked. You never did that, like for sex, energy, stuff like that?
Now, yes, indeed.
Does it work?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. My dude Soldier Slim said that dope.
Yeah. Okay.
Y'all know out there.
Yeah.
It's real. And now that you say that, I have to kind of revamp that answer. Everything still stands. Yeah. But it's certain little things throughout the way that was introduced to me, but I was already full blown. Yeah. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, a quick example. I used to just take my pills orally.
Gotcha.
Then I started messing with this little chick. Yeah. And she was like, why don't you snort them? Yeah.
So you started
that was
snorting.
a habit in itself. I got addicted to
Did it make the high better?
Yes.
Just
because
a different way of taking
it goes straight. I ain't trying to school y'all out there, but it goes
this is sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah,
if you get schooled, you get schooled.
Yeah,
It's upfront conversation.
straight like that. So it goes straight. It goes straight to your bloodstream. You got all those vessels. It's like the closest thing to shooting. I never shot anything.
Gotcha.
But I said all that to say, you know what I'm saying? Another reason why I would do these drugs would be, and I'm about to get deep with you, dog.
Yeah.
When the person who I was when I was sober, before I started using drugs, I didn't like that person.
Why?
Because the way I was raised,
Yeah.
it made me a real quiet. I like to call it antisocial extrovert.
So let's stop it right there for a minute. The way you were raised made you a real quiet person. You said just a few minutes ago that you started taking the drugs because there was a feeling that you had inside that you would describe that feeling. You call it's anxiety. What if we could go back? We going back right now. We got the ability to go back. We got the ability to press a button and go back to before you first started getting high.
Mm-hmm.
You got anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And we sitting down and you're about to make a decision to get high or explain it to me, and I could tell you another way to handle it. Explain what it feels like to have this anxiety. Describe the feeling.
For me, heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Mind racing on another level.
Yeah. And you were at 13? This at 13?
This is since I could remember. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, cause when your mind, when your mama getting on your ass because it's got Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, and 100 bunches of oats, but you want Fruit Loops, but the Frosted Flakes open, and she curse you out like a dog, cause you opened up a box of cereal that wasn't open.
So you telling me,
So
you telling me the safety, the attention, the love that, because last week we talked about the little me, we talked about PTSD, and we talked a little bit about childhood wounds. You were 13 years old, already dealing with anxiety, already dealing with stress that you didn't even have a name for.
Yeah, I didn't even.
He couldn't even associate what he was dealing with.
No.
And so it was easy for you to transition into drugs. I'm wondering, you didn't know at 13 that your dad was on drugs. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I didn't know that until you.
Yeah.
So and wait, I was in my 20s, bro.
Yeah. So you transitioned into drugs, and your father was on drugs, and your mom helped in a way by giving you the childhood wounds, the PTSD, and creating this little person that you will forever live with, who's with you right now, and still craves the drugs, still has the PTSD, still has the stress and anxiety, but it's helping you write the music at the same time. Taking prescriptions is a hell of a feeling.
You know what I'm saying?
You feel me? I might not do drugs, but when it comes down to that trap music, I'm on it. But listen, she contributed to everything that you are and everything that you're not.
Yeah.
Childhood wounds.
Yeah.
So it seems like she didn't provide none of the stuff that you needed in that area.
In that area.
And we don't listen. But this not the night to glorify what she did do, because we talking about what mothers don't do.
Right.
So I'm not. I don't. We not. It's no more disclaimers.
No more disclaimers.
What you do, and what you did do, wasn't enough because you missed out on so much.
Right.
Childhood wounds. I spoke last episode about children needing attention when they reach up and they're crying. And parents, a lot of parents, especially black parents, moms, dads, oh no, don't pick him up. That's gonna make him soft.
Oh, yeah.
And what it does over time is it shows the child, I'm not loving you today. And so when your mom, well, at times when she was nice and she would let you, oh, just go ahead and open that cereal box. Or just let you just do something and you'd be like, oh, mommy being nice? That's the inconsistent behavior, because now you're wondering, well, what did I do to deserve, right? And so for your relationships, the patterns that you have with mommy, sometimes she's nice, sometimes she's... Cash Epics is my brother, my baby brother, if I never announced that.
Blood,
when
baby.
he came home from the hospital, in the Willows, we had to walk up all of those steps and bring all of the new stuff from Charity Hospital. So, just so you know, so the patterns that she formed with you, you can open up a cereal. No, I don't want to hear that, and curse you out some days. And this is how your relationships are now, because the patterns that we form with our parents, our mom, especially for a male, those are the same patterns that are shaped in our brain for the future.
And do you think, doesn't it feel like it intensifies those ramifications when you don't have the father there to balance it out? Or do you think that...
I think that the relationship with your mother supersedes
I agree.
any relationship with your father, because your father could tell you you're nothing, but if your mom comes back and say you could be everything,
I agree.
If she says you could be everything, let's look at Kanye. Kanye's mom told him he could do drop out of school, I'm supporting you. I don't even know what pursuing music is.
Nope.
And he went to the top. That's just an example. I believe when you have that strong foundation from your mother, it sets you up for success. It doesn't mean you're going to be successful.
No.
But there's an innate sense of confidence and esteem that you have in yourself that you can't get from somewhere else.
That's so crazy you just said that. Because just like the points you was making about the relationships, I'm telling the guy honest truth. I never even spoke this out loud or told this to a female or anyone for that matter.
Yeah.
I literally was yearning for the woman who I was with to give me that.
When did you fall?
I just wanted them to tell me.
I got something I gotta ask you before I get back to the questions. When did you first start in your mind, like wanting a girlfriend, wanting to be with somebody, like wanting to have somebody to love? How old were you? You remember?
I would say, you know what, bro? I'm really a lover, dog.
Yeah, how old?
It started very early.
Like when?
Like I would have to tell you, I would have to say about 16. But the thing is, I didn't know how to do it right.
Yeah.
But I knew I wanted it.
Yeah. I was like 7 or 8 years old when I first started wanting to be in love. We had a calendar, and I remember for all of the different seasons and holidays, it was a little boy and a little girl. And this one month, it was December, and they were sitting across one another with a fork and a knife. And I remember thinking, damn, I want to be in love like that. Like I want to have that at 8.
Wow.
And at 8 is when the anxiety started for me. I sat down with a therapist. I mean, if you watch the episodes, you know I've talked about going to therapy. And I sat down with a therapist at some point, and she asked me when, we started talking about my anxiety and how hard it is. Like, I mean, we talking about tough. Like, if I'm anxious, you don't get in my way. That's just, I mean, really. And you have the same thing. Is no, please, just give me what I need in that moment. If it's a phone call, if it's attention or whatever it is. And she asked me, when did it first start? And I had to think back. And I said, I first started having heart palpitations at 8 on Constant Street. And she said, what happened? And so I had to do a little research, and I asked my grandmother, who we affectionately call Grandmommy. Everybody holla, if you've been around the family, everybody know about Grandmommy. They don't even know her real name. So I asked, I said, what happened? And she said, you used to sit by the window late at night, and you would look out the window. And one night I came and I saw you sitting looking by the window, and I said, "What are you doing?" And you said, "I'm waiting for my mommy. I don't know where she is."
Wow.
Just picture a child at 8 years old looking out the window. He should be asleep, playing games on the phone. Oh, by the way, I was on the phone too. I used to dial 976 hot sex late at night around that age. So I did that too, right?
Advanced.
976 hot, 976. These days it'll probably be 976, yeah.
Advanced.
But look, I would sit and I would wait for her. And I would have heart palpitations. We had a priest come to the house.
Really?
Yeah, we had a priest come to the house and bless the house, bless the room, because at some point, the bed started shaking. We're on the top floor, we're on the second floor, the bed started shaking. Later on, we found out in that area they had a lot of 18-wheelers passing. So it wasn't the Exorcist. I thought it was the Exorcist. I saw that Exorcist.
You had me gone.
So, but I started having those heart palpitations, and it was because of the things that I was telling you we missed: the attention, the love, the reflection, the leisurely connection. As a child, the therapist told me boys start to gain their identity around 7 or 8. And a lot of your identity is focused on being seen, being heard, being felt, and being acknowledged. And so this is what you missed out on when you were getting extreme counsel about a cereal box or something simple. You wanted to be seen, you wanted to be heard, you wanted to be felt, you wanted to be acknowledged. Your needs needed to be seen, heard, felt, and acknowledged, and they weren't. Let me ask you this.
They were not.
Did the drugs help, or did they make it worse?
That's a great question.
Because in a moment,
That's a great question.
what did the drugs do for you? We talking about cocaine, we talking about Roxys, we talking about, you even told me about Adderall. You was like, gee, you take an Adderall, you be able to, you can conquer the world.
I told you the bucket list.
So look, did they make it worse or make it better?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said they didn't make it better at the time.
Yeah.
During the high.
Yeah.
But no high lasts that long.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna ultimately say, I'm gonna tell you this. It's the first time I ever said this. The drugs they ultimately made it worse. And I'm gonna say this, this is the reason why. Because of the back end.
Yeah.
Because I overindulged to the point where I messed myself up physically, mentally.
Yeah.
I'm still the same age emotionally as when I started.
You mentioned that you found out when you take drugs, when you first start, is kind of the age that you stop developing mentally. In a way.
Yeah. At least
for everyone.
That's what I read as far as your emotional maturity goes. And I believe it.
Yeah.
Because to this day, I don't know how to handle certain things that a normal 32-year-old probably could handle better than me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I still feel like I'm 20, 21.
You really still feel like
I really do. And guess what? I'm going to be totally honest. If drugs did not have withdrawals, if I had never been brought to those pits, to the pits of hell that it brought me to, and you realize how much money it takes to keep.
It's an expensive habit.
Bro,
I want to say this before you finish. I've seen you so high. I wasn't there when they brought you home, but I remember you had a Mustang and you crashed the Mustang head first into a pole. I remember that occasion. I remember you going to a concert. I don't remember which one it was, but they had
Kanye West, Yeezy.
It was a Kanye West Yeezy concert.
Front row, baby. He probably seen me.
And you passed out.
I passed out, yeah.
At the concert because you were so high.
Rest in peace to Jairus. He the only one picked me up.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about those things. So do you think that if you had to gauge what contributed most to the anxiety and the drugs, would you say was your upbringing? I mean, I know you feel guilty to say that, but
I would.
Yeah.
I would, bro.
Yeah.
I would. And you know why? You know why it made me feel guilty? Because we always do this disclaimers. It's not that. Yeah. I just feel guilty because all my life I've tried to tiptoe around that and find every other reason why it could be.
Yeah.
And I always put it on myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you know how it is as men, you can't blame nothing else.
They don't.
Like, that's what the stigma.
That's the stigma for men is that you can't blame, and I see why, because let's just talk about your relationships a little bit. Do you find that when you've shown weakness in your relationships, you've cried, you've expressed yourself in an emotional manner, do you find that in those moments when you needed solace, a hug, a kiss, a pat on the back, a baby, it's gonna be okay, I'm not gonna leave you, do you find that the women that you had in your life took advantage of you the most then?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Triple time.
Listen, bro.
Triple time.
It's a very.
Do you find that being emotional around your mother, did she ever console you in emotional times?
My mom was so non-emotional that it made me overly emotional.
I had the therapist ask me. She said, you need to ask yourself why you keep choosing women that are emotionally unavailable. And I'm like, I don't choose women that are emotionally unavailable. These women have cried to me and said, George, I want this, I want that, and why can't you give me? But it's like the moment somebody gets in and they get what they want, or they get a little bit, or they see emotion in you, then it's weakness. And what you see as weakness, or what a woman has seen as a weakness in you, is really just your love and your vulnerability.
Yes.
How difficult is it now, knowing you got the drugs, knowing you got the anxiety, knowing that you've been used emotionally when you were the most vulnerable? How is it to imagine a relationship? Can you imagine a relationship going forward? What does that look like to you?
Nah. I'm in a very strange place in life, bro. I fight tears off all day. Bro, I fight tears off. I'm fighting tears off right now.
Yeah.
You wanna know the real, bro?
Yeah.
Sometimes I be like, I don't even think that's in the cards for me for the the back massages and how was your day, and I'm here, it just start to feel like that's fictional, or it's for somebody else or something. I don't know, and I don't get it, honestly, because how do you rationalize it when you don't do the things that usually cause people to act like that towards people, when you don't beat them up and I just don't get it, bro.
Let me ask you this, and I gotta credit you because I know how bad anxiety is. We here with Cash Epics, by the way.
Cash Epics, baby. FBM, man.
FBM, full bread
militant.
Full bread militant.
Yeah, full
no,
bread,
you could have had full bread drugs, man. But no, look.
FBD, baby.
Right. FBD. Look.
Hey, but we doing Paris now.
Okay.
We doing Paris.
People out there like, nigga, please. Hey, when you think about emotional vulnerability and women leaving you at the times when you needed them most. I know for sure you've gone back to those relationships, to those women, because the anxiety is so bad. It's like a pull.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't make it if I, like, you feel like you're gonna die. Like, you feel like
Literally.
your heart is about to come out of your chest.
Literally.
You will walk from New Orleans East to Uptown if you need to see that person.
Yes.
When you have anxiety. And it's all surrounding the affection, them getting in. And when they reject you, it's such a feeling of, you don't even want to live. Let's go back. It was a December, late night in December. I can't remember what year it was. It wasn't too long ago. And you called and you said, I don't even know if you called or just somebody called, but I think that night you wanted to end it all. You felt like, I'm just done. I can't cope. I came to the East and I saw you in front of the door, and you was coked up and down at the same time. And you wanted to be done with it.
You told me the next time you think about taking yourself out this God Greens or well, whatever you want to call it, you take it out on that. Should I be ready to
Be blunt.
You know what I'm saying?
Be blunt.
You know what I'm saying? For you think about killing yourself. If
What did that do for you? What did that perspective do for you?
For me, I needed to hear that. Cause see, I learned from the rawness. I needed raw. And that's how you gave it to me. Pause. You did, yeah, I'm on y'all account. But from that point on, it was like it made me, just that simple statement, made me realize how valuable I am.
Yeah, you would never have done that to her, but
hell no.
But because
No,
when you
no,
love
hell
somebody, you would never hurt them. But
no,
I felt
that
like
wasn't the point you was making.
Yeah, I felt like in that moment, I felt like I want to see how bad you really feel. Mm-hmm. So before you do it to yourself, let's just make it full circle.
Right.
And it brought you back to reality.
And it brought me back to reality because, like you said, we both know at the end of the day, I don't want to harm myself, and I definitely would never or don't want to harm the female. Yeah. I never hit a woman in my life.
Yeah. And props for that, because I know with anxiety, I just want to say that in the culture and the world that we're living in right now, there's so much domestic violence going on. And we're going to talk about this at a different time. We're going to have a segment on domestic violence. But I can say 99% of it is probably attributed to anxiety that men have. They don't know how to handle, and they do something that they have to regret for life later. Oh, yeah. Because they didn't have the outlet, they didn't have the resources, and nobody had to tell them to kill anybody. They just do it. Right. They just do it because they feel like that's gonna solve it, and it doesn't. It's the end of their life, basically.
Right. Just like I know a dude. We ain't saying no name.
Yeah, we know what? We're gonna save that story.
Okay.
We're gonna save that story. Let me ask you this. With the anxiety and with being left, being abandoned, how does it make you feel as a man to have to go back, not literally on your hands and knees, but the same woman you were about to kill yourself for, the same one who I said, oh yeah, before you kill yourself, let's see what you really feel. You went back, time after time after time after time after time again. How does it make you feel to go back? It's not even you. It's like your anxiety is doing it. But how does it make you feel as a man?
Man, it made me feel like I wasn't player. It made me feel like, why my player card went? Like, why I'm built like this?
Yeah.
Like, why I can't, all these females out here, why? I know I think highly of myself. Why am I stuck on this person? Yeah. She could, that person you talking about can sit there and say, babe, I don't want you. Yeah. And you would still go back if she called you the next day.
I told you that night, I said, and you didn't believe this at all. I said, you're gonna get over this. I said, not only will you get over it, when it's gonna come a day where you don't even think about this person.
You did.
How many days like that have you had?
You did.
How many days like that have you had? A lot of days. Like,
what?
You don't even think about it.
What? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Listen to me, that night you wanted to end your life, bro.
Yes.
That night you wanted to end. Shout out to Devin. Shout out to Perk.
Oh yeah, shout out to my dude, 4-8 Maxwell Perk. Boy, I see all y'all, man.
Yeah,
you
man.
know the deal, bro.
I guess you could shout the whole brick out, cause you know.
Yeah, you can shout. Oh yeah, my man Chubs, man, yeah. Pop Lottie, all y'all, man. Marley G, yeah, I see you.
I gotta say this though.
And shout out to the main man in the building too, man.
I gotta say,
cause this man, the man, he's just humble, man.
I gotta say this right quick. With anxiety and with abandonment and childhood issues, not receiving the things that you needed to receive, it leaves you needing people. And that need, especially if somebody that you love, that you wanted, that was there, their presence, you know, you got to think about so many things. You're empty now. We have to get to the point where we're self-full. And people like you and me who have childhood wounds, no matter how much you come around and you tell us we're great, you can have money, you can have status, you can have women, that's not self-full. In order for us to be self-full, we have to affirm ourselves. You don't wait on somebody else to affirm you. People can confirm you, but they have to confirm what you already know about yourself. So you have to speak into yourself. You have to be able to tell yourself how great you are, how wonderful you are, how amazing you are. And when we think back on what we talked about on our last episode with the little me that's inside of you.
Little me, yes.
You have to affirm him. And all you doing, when you affirm you, you're affirming him. Mm-hmm. So you're speaking into yourself constantly. And the thing is, that anxiety and running back to people who say people who leave you, like we should never run back to people who don't want to be with us. If you leave one time, that's it. And both of us, because of love, because of compassion, and it's a lot of men out there. Probably most men find themselves in situations where they go back to a woman that has left them. And I'll attribute it to this. I'll explain why you do it, and I'll put it into words, but we're going to talk about it on another episode. Therapists told me that my mother, your mother, our mother, conditioned me to see and to feel that to be loved and to be mistreated are the same thing. So if you love me, you can mistreat me because you love me.
Right.
But unconsciously, I feel it and I know it. So every time you left me, oh, she gonna be back. Because you love me. I know she loves me. Because she's done things that show love.
Oh.
But in the same way that you did things to show love, you abandoned me.
That's so synonymous to the mother, the dynamic.
Mommy, oh, you could have some cereal. No, don't open it tomorrow. In the same way that you show me you love me, you mistreat me. Yeah. So you're showing me that to be loved and to be mistreated are the same.
All the same.
And that's not the same thing. But we're gonna keep it moving though, because we talking about sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
And rock and roll, baby, let's rock and roll.
Let's talk about the pull of the women that you were in love with after they left you. Your last relationships, are you over it, or are you still dealing with the pull of it?
I see this. I'm probably, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'm like 85% over it.
Good.
I'm like 85%. And the other 15 is because gotta you know, you gotta something involved. Look, you know what I'm saying?
I want to read something real quick. Back to that Tibetan book of meditation. You can find it online, I think. Problem, I don't have enough money. The karmic fix, be radically generous with your money, help, and time. Problem, I can't sleep at night. Karmic fix, send someone love. Problem, I can't seem to hold on to a partner. Karmic fix, respect other people's relationships. A lot of y'all out there need to hear that because you're nosy and you in other people's business and you're trying to be a cheater, you cheater. You low down dirty dog, you snake in the grass. I don't have enough energy. Appreciate all that others do for you.
Oh, wow.
Problem, I have some health problems. Karmic fix, take care of others who are sick. We gotta give more, bro. Problem, I eat poorly. Karmic fix, make sure someone else has a good, healthy diet. Problem, and we're gonna end it with this one. I'm looking for a companion. Karmic fix, befriend a lonely person. The Tibetans, man, they meditate a lot. These are good people, bro.
That is deep.
That's deep. That's deep.
It seems like the whole theme is giving.
It's giving. It's all centered around giving. You have to give. You know what? Why are we talking about giving? Would you say that you gave more than you received in your relationships?
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly would.
Yeah.
I honestly would.
Yeah.
Because I gave so much that I would have gave all of me.
Do you think that you gave all of you? Because you gave a lot of you to something. But did you? And here's where I'm going with this. I wanna let everybody know out there. There's nothing wrong with giving more in a relationship than the other person, especially if you're just starting out. I think that some people it takes a little while. Some people give in ways that you may not know. Like someone may be giving their whole heart to you. They're faithful. They're loyal. They've never been like that with somebody before. You might be giving more gifts. And while material things matter, for me to give you my heart, my loyalty, and my everything, I go out and I don't even look at other women. You don't know that. You just know I haven't bought you Gucci or Louis. But you don't know that I don't look at another woman the same way as I look at you. So when we talk about that, those two, they kind of measure up. In the long run, ladies and gentlemen, it will even out. Right. All right, so you got to give people a chance. But and you think you were a martyr to your relationships?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, dog. Because, like I said, and this is detrimental. This is bad, dog. I ain't going to say when because I'm going to say moving forward, I'm more enlightened. Yeah. But in the past, I would love so much, love so hard, that I am willing to give you everything. And I'm not talking about no gifts. Yeah. I'm talking about the real.
Yeah, you gave yourself.
The first time I ever went to rehab, it wasn't with my choice. Yeah. It was my choice. Yeah. But it was so I could keep my relationship.
So you could keep your relationship.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. How does it feel to know your very own family has in some ways given up on you, called you a drug addict to your face, and really treat you as if Cash Epics, the rapper, the voice, coming out of Easton, you're not who you were then. You know, when we talk about the streets, this is the streets right here. I mean, I'm his brother. I'm from the same New Orleans, but the dudes that I know gangsters. I don't want to label what they are, but I know I went to school with people who were doing things that would just out of this world. They would definitely never think that we were related. Just by the life that you've lived. And you came up under me. Like, you gotta tell me about things. I gotta ask you, so what does an Adderall do?
You know the way.
I gotta ask you stuff like that. You feel me? How does it feel to know that your family has given up on you? What does that feel like to you? And they look at you as if this is all you're gonna be. Cash Epic's the rapper who was at this point was supposed to be at the top. They look at as a drug addict, have called you a drug addict to your face. How does that feel? What does that feel like? What does it look like? Frame that for the people.
It's the worst feeling I ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
It's worse than the heartbreak. It's worse than the withdrawals. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because this family that we talking about,
yeah.
I'm 32 and they still don't understand me. They don't know how much I love them. They don't know that
you got so much love. You'll do anything.
They don't understand. And when you got people like that calling you a thief and you never stole a penny.
Yeah.
I was addicted to drugs straight for 13 years. I never took one penny from anybody. I'm just saying that to say, when you gotta look in your grandma, your uncle, your cousins, your mama face, and you not guessing.
Yeah.
It's been told.
Yeah.
And spoken about.
Yeah. That
you just a drug addict. It goes past just the phrase when they start to treat you as one.
To me, you being treated like you homeless at home.
Facts. Homeless at home.
Yeah.
Big facts. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big topic. Tonight we talked about sex, drugs, rock and roll, anxiety. Before we close for the night, I gotta bring something to your attention because and it might be a little bit somber, but there's always light because there's tragedy in life and everything that we deal with. Mm-hmm. I remember when your partner Jairus got killed. You told me about it. You didn't even make it to the funeral because you was dope sick. Yeah. You didn't make it to your partner's funeral. Do you remember what happened on the evening of April 22nd, 2018?
Yes, I do.
What happened?
I was on the way home from work with my main man.
Who?
Rest in peace, Gould.
Brick.
We called him Foe, straight off the brick. Yeah. Man, shout out to my dude. But unfortunately, we was on the way home and we was on Claiborne. People from New Orleans, they know we talking about Claiborne and Cataract right under the bridge. And as soon as we turned, car turned in front of us. A lot of people think we was beefing. It was the wrong place at the wrong time. The dude caught his girl down bad. He lost his mind, went around the city on a rampage, shooting random cars. He shot our car, 2 bullets, just close to me. First bullet in my
Where the bullet hit Gould?
The first, that one hit him in, not his skull, but the first shot he let out went through it broke his jaw, went through his carotid artery, and then got lodged in the top of his stem cell, the top of his spine that connects the stem cells to the brain. Yeah. So he was paralyzed instantly. And he actually lived for 2 years after that. And he died in the place where he was supposed to be recovering in the rehab facility because of negligence in my eyes. His ventilation thing came out in the middle of the night.
That was tragic. I remember that day. And that day, you called me and you said, "G, somebody just shot up the car, hit Goob in the neck." And I remember going to the hospital right after that, and I saw the car, and it was blood. The car was non-salvageable. They couldn't salvage the car. They had to get rid of the car. It was blood everywhere. It was blood. It was a pool of blood from the front to the back. Why? You had your gun on you.
You ran when y'all left the scene. I saw a video with you getting out of the car with your gun. You didn't shoot back. I always think about that. Why didn't you shoot back?
I'm so glad you asked me that, cause that go deep. And
cause that was your main dude.
Right.
You were strapped.
But you have to picture the dynamics here, and I'm gonna break it down perfectly, cause I had to deal with this for a long time, because I'm not no killer, right?
Yeah.
So, I even got a line in the song where I'm like, why I'm saying how my partner, how I felt like I ain't need a gun growing up, but my partner told me you need one in this city.
Yeah.
I got the gun, but I still wasn't in a killer's mind frame, so I'm leaving work. I got my gun in my bag.
Yeah.
It's not like how I am now,
Yeah.
where it's like if I'm driving, it's like that.
Because now it's a whole different ball game.
It's a whole different ball game.
And I asked you one day, we got in a car and we, before we close, I got to close with this one. But I want you to answer this question. I don't want them to know the dynamics. I don't want them to know the specifics. I want you to put in the words simply and with love for him why you didn't shoot back that day.
I couldn't.
Yeah. It was so quick.
For one,
they had a baby in the car.
For one, if I had my gun in my hand, it would have been a different ball game. But, and not only that, I was shell shocked as hell.
Were you high that day?
No. I was completely sober, fresh off of work. And you gotta realize something. When you're not beefing, and you don't know what's going on. It's like you just sitting at the red light, and it's not like the first couple of shots was being shot and we was ducking. And no, the first shot, he was done. Yeah. From that point on, I didn't even know that they had other gunshots because he was done. That shell shock. You been to the military, you know what I'm talking about. I couldn't even hear him no more.
I will say, I know how much that event affected you. We went to the Rick Ross concert. I bought a section.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
We went to the Rick Ross concert, and we were about to go into the arena, and you pulled me to the side, and you said, "Hold up, G, wait, what'd you tell me?" So that people could know that how serious it is now, how serious. You keep one in the chamber, but what'd you tell me when we were about to walk up the stairs and walk into the event to see Rick Ross?
I really forgot that. I said that
you couldn't get in because
I couldn't get in. I didn't know how we was gonna get in because I had my burner. I had my gun on.
He had a gun on him. What was it? A mini, a chopper, a Draco? What was it?
I ain't had a Drake. I just had a little XD 45.
He had I said, we going to a concert, and it was that serious. We talking about sex, drugs, rock and roll, death, murder, anxiety. We talking about childhood wounds. We talking about all these different things. It's Cash Epics, New Orleans' finest. Man, listen, the healing starts with knowing, and before we close, it's not enough to address having anxiety. It's not enough to address having childhood wounds. You have to be able to do something about it. I always, when I look at things or I go to church and they talk about the problem, I always leave wondering, what's the solution? Drugs, anxiety, believe it or not, there is a solution. And one of the things that you can do is first, when you get anxiety and you get this feeling of a pull, whether it's a relationship issue you're going through or whether it's drugs, whatever it is, you have to be able to stop yourself in the moment and know where you are. And then you have to speak to that little you inside and talk to him. And we're going to talk about this more in depth as we go on with Booed Up. And this is a show about how to love black men in the state that we're in the culture that we're in, so that we can love you. Preston, we're going to work on finding you love later. white men love. But this is about, so when you find yourself in that situation, I'm just gonna tell everybody what I do right now. My girlfriend broke up with me, and the love and anxiety, they pull me. And so I've gotten to a place where I've had to talk to my little me inside and say, the feelings that you feel for her, the wounds, the hurt that you feel, it wasn't all caused by her. This came from earlier time. This was caused from your childhood wounds. I said, so we can't place the blame all on her. All right, mommy didn't do some things. There were some things that were done that were hurtful. You experienced some emotional things. You weren't seen, you weren't heard, you weren't loved. The way you weren't acknowledged and you weren't felt. That's the first thing I do. The next thing I do is I tell myself, you don't need someone else to affirm you. You don't need someone else to see you, hear you, feel you, or love you. I hear you. I feel you. I love you. So it's basically saying, I love me. I love me enough to know that I don't need somebody else outside of me to love me, especially somebody that left me. And so everybody that's out there, if you have somebody that left you, you feel this reach, you feel this pull, you're asking yourself, how could this person leave me? How could they do me like this? Sometimes you're just too much for people. Sometimes you're just too much. Sometimes people have their own childhood wounds as well. So they have to deal with those. So you got your childhood wounds, and you've come to the place, you're confident enough, you can stand in this relationship when it gets tough. But they can't, they run. So I tell myself that, and then I move to the spiritual perspective. I talk to God about it, I pray about it, and I ask God to help me get through it. And one of the ways I do that is an exercise that I call going back. I go back to the moment. For instance, I was telling you about when I was in that window. I go back to that moment, and you speak to the person that hurt you or that didn't give you in that moment from that childhood wound, and you tell them, I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve you to treat me like that. I deserve you to treat me better. I deserve love. I deserve you to see me, hear me, feel me. I deserve to be acknowledged, and you did not acknowledge me. I want to forgive you. I pray to forgive you. But you hurt me. You caused a lot of hurt in my relationships. And then we forgive them, and we ask God to help us to forgive them. And we also ask God to help us to get out of this pattern that we've created. Break this pattern and heal these wounds. We leave that moment, and we come to the person that hurt us currently. Your girlfriend, whoever, your boyfriend. And you don't have to physically talk to them because prayer is way more powerful. So you go to them and meditatively, your eyes closed, praying, and you tell them, you hurt me. You furthered the wound that was already there. You were supposed to be there. We're supposed to hold each other down. I'm supposed to help you. You're supposed to help me. But that's not what happened. You hurt me. And with that being said, you ask for forgiveness. You ask to forgive them. You ask them to forgive you because you also did things to hurt them. And
Whether you realize it or not.
Whether you realize it or not, we did things to hurt each other. Relationships, I told you earlier, you can only get who you are. So you both have childhood wounds, some of the same childhood wounds. You come together so you can heal. You mirroring one another. And if both of you are strong, you can heal. You can be together. But if you're not, somebody's going to run away. They're going to go. But you ask for forgiveness, you ask them to forgive you, and then you pray that God heal those wounds. And the next thing you do, the fourth thing you do, you start with the affirmations. I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm wonderful, I'm powerful, I can do this. I like my boy E.T., Eric Thomas. I listen to him a lot on YouTube. He says 3 things. I can, I will, I must. I can, I will, I must. I can get through this. I will get through this. I must get through this. I can love myself enough to not need this person. I will love myself to not need this person. I must love myself to not need this person. And if that doesn't work by the end of the night, you just say, man, fuck this person.
Yeah. Hey, that's what it got to be.
That's not going to work. But you you gotta just keep going. You gotta keep driving, bro. You gotta keep driving. This. If you watching this podcast, if you watching Booed Up, and you stand for the long haul, at some point we all gonna get to the place where we see our value. We see our value. And the thing is, in these relationships, some of you want to find wives, you want to find husbands, you want to find dimes, you want to find a boss who have money. But you're looking for that person so they could show you your value.
Man.
You have to have your own value. You have to go into the relationship with your value. You have to go into any relationship, any situation, knowing who you are, what you are, and what you are worth. And I don't mean Chanel. I don't mean Gucci. I mean knowing who you are. And listen, you can't get in a relationship and state of value and you've been sleeping with everybody in the city, bro.
Nah.
And that's for men and women.
Nah.
I'm not street meat. So don't go looking for me on a cart. Like, you're not going to find nothing like that. If you want value, you have to be value. If you want a man that's good, you have to be good. Hey, it's Booed Up. Cash episode. Rock. What's the name of this episode? Like, I've been smoking. Sex.
It's probably contact.
Drugs. It's the contact.
It's contact.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, anxiety. We went up. It's Big Boss Talk. You got anything you want to say?
I just want to say, first of all, bro, thank you
For sure.
for the opportunity to be a part of something so pivotal to this community, because I truly believe that this is gonna help a lot of people.
I just wanted to help. Like, I'm not. There's no way I was gonna go through the things I went through the past couple of years. It's been like 7 years of hell, and I'm a warrior. I don't buckle. So.
Big fact.
I don't buckle. I don't need drugs. I don't need a sedative.
And what I always tell you, I admire you.
Yeah. I'm a real lion. So don't run up, because it's gonna be a. Don't run up. It's gonna be something. But I will say this though. I will. I must.
Believe that.
Holla.
Hey, Cash Epics. You know what I'm saying?
We got some projects on the way.
Y'all
gotta look out. We got some stuff on the way. Hey, Booed Up, the White Love edition is coming soon. We finding Preston a white girl. She's gonna be nice, fine, classy. Listen, I might have to get me a white girl.
That's what I'm thinking about.
I might have to get me a white girl.
Maybe that's what we've been.
We gonna go out with Preston. We're gonna have a couple beers. Preston, what else do y'all do for fun? Hey, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Be good, baby.
Love, man.
In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. Let me see what spring is like, or Jupiter and Mars. In other words, please be true.